MGUS, smoldering multiple myeloma, and solitary plasma cytoma. So, um, no specific intervention is indicated for a monoclonal gammopathy of undetermined significance. So, for patients with MGUS, monoclonal gammopathy of unknown significance, follow up once a year or less frequently, it is adequate. Once a year follow up is adequate, except in high risk MGUS. So, what has to be done in high risk MGUS? Serum protein electrophoresis, complete blood count, creatinine, and calcium. This should be repeated every 6 months. So, in high risk MGUS, serum protein electrophoresis, complete blood count, creatinine, and calcium. This should be repeated every 6 months. So, a patient with MGUS and severe polyneuropathy, so he is considered for therapeutic intervention if a causal relationship can be assumed. See, patient is having MGUS and patient is also having severe polyneuropathy. So, in these patients, a therapeutic intervention can be considered if other potential causes of neuropathy are eliminated. So, therapy can include plasmapheresis and occasionally rituximab in patients with IgM MGUS or myeloma-like therapy in those with IgG or IgA disease. Supposing patient is having in patients with IgM MGUS. So therapy can include plasmapheresis and occasionally rituximab. Myeloma-like therapy in those with IgG or IgA disease. So those having IgG or IgA disease, myeloma-like therapy. A subset of patients with MGUS develop renal dysfunction, usually based on renal damage from the monoclonal antibody. So a subset of patients are there. So they develop renal dysfunction. So this is on renal damage from monoclonal antibody. So the damage, it will affect the glomeruli, tubules or vessels. So the damage, the renal dysfunction due to monoclonal antibody, it can affect the glomeruli, tubules or vessels. No consensus exists on management. So if the damage is occurring due to monoclonal antibody, so the level of the monoclonal antibody has to be reduced along with bortezomib. So this has got some effect. And about 10% of patients with smoldering multiple myeloma, that is asymptomatic multiple myeloma, they usually have an indolent course, only a slow progression of the disease over many years. So the smoldering multiple myeloma, indolent course, slow progression. So this is in 10% of the patients. So for patients with smoldering multiple myeloma, no specific therapeutic intervention is indicated. Although early intervention with lenalidomide and dexamethasone. So in patients with smoldering multiple myeloma, early intervention is required with lenalidomide and dexamethasone. So LD, lenalidomide and dexamethasone, which prevents progression from high risk smoldering multiple myeloma to active multiple myeloma. So early intervention with lenalidomide and dexamethasone, it will prevent progression from high risk smoldering multiple myeloma to active multiple myeloma. At present, patients with smoldering multiple myeloma only require anti-tumor therapy when myeloma defining events are identified. So at present, if patients are having smoldering multiple myeloma, they only require anti-tumor therapy when myeloma defining events, hypercalcemia, renal failure. So these myeloma defining events are identified. So patients with solitary bone plasmacytomas, And extramedullary plasmacytomas, they may be expected to enjoy prolonged disease-free survival after local radiation therapy at a dose of 40 gyri. So patients were having the solitary bone plasmacytoma and extramedullary plasmacytoma, they are expected to enjoy prolonged disease-free survival after local radiation therapy at a dose of 40 gyri. Occult marrow involvement may occur at low incidence in patients with solitary bone, though there is a solitary bone plasmacytoma, but there could be a occult marrow involvement. So this may occur at low incidence in patients with solitary bone plasmacytoma. So such patients, say they are usually identified because their serum M component falls slowly or disappears initially after local therapy, but it will return after a few months. So these patients, they respond well to systemic therapy. So solitary bone plasmacytoma with occult marrow component, if the disease appears after a few months, so these patients respond well to systemic therapy. Then we have symptomatic multiple myeloma. So symptomatic multiple myeloma patients, they require therapeutic intervention. So in general, such therapy has two purposes. So in symptomatic myeloma patients, first systemic therapy to control the myeloma and supportive therapy. So systemic therapy and supportive therapy, care to control symptoms of the disease, complications and adverse effects of the therapy. So therapy can significantly prolong survival and improve the quality of life for myeloma patients. So the therapy of myeloma includes an initial induction regimen followed by consolidation and or maintenance therapy. So what is the therapy of myeloma? So it is a initial induction regimen. So it is followed by consolidation and or maintenance therapy, and on subsequent progression, management of the relapsed disease. Initially induction regimen followed by consolidation and or maintenance therapy, and if there is a subsequent progression, relapsed disease has to be treated. So this table, this I'll explain in the last part. And therapy, it is partly, so what are the different drugs, their doses and schedules. So therapy is partly dictated by the patient's age and comorbidities, which may affect a patient's ability to undergo high dose therapy and transplantation. How is the therapy dictated? It is mainly dictated by the patient's age. What is the age? What are the comorbidities? So this will affect a patient's ability to undergo high dose therapy and transplantation. So whether they can receive this high dose therapy and whether they can undergo this transplantation. So 3 important classes of agents approved for treatment of newly diagnosed multiple myeloma. So patient is newly diagnosed with multiple myeloma. So what are the 3 important classes of agents? So the 3 important classes of agents are immunomodulatory agents, proteasome inhibitors and targeted antibodies. So what are the 3 important classes of agents for treatment of newly diagnosed multiple myeloma? So these are immunomodulatory agents, proteasome inhibitors and targeted antibodies. So thalidomide, when combined with dexamethasone, achieved responses in 2/3 of newly diagnosed multiple myeloma patients. We have thalidomide, we have dexamethasone. So thalidomide, when combined with dexamethasone, so this achieved responses in 2/3 of newly diagnosed multiple myeloma patients. Subsequently, lenalidomide, a immunomodulatory derivative of thalidomide, and bortezomib. So this bortezomib, it is a proteasome inhibitor, have each been combined with dexamethasone. Now we are giving 3 drugs. What are those? Lenalidomide, bortezomib and dexamethasone. So this has got a high response rate, greater than 80% in newly diagnosed patients with multiple myeloma. So importantly, their lower toxicity profile with improved efficacy has made them the preferred agents for induction therapy. So why these three drugs are preferred for induction therapy? Because they have got this lower toxicity profile with improved efficacy. Lenalidomide, it is a immunomodulatory derivative of thalidomide. Bortezomib is a proteasome inhibitor, and dexamethasone. Efforts to improve the depth and frequency of response have involved using 3 drug regimens. So the combination of lenalidomide with a proteasome inhibitor, bortezomib or carfilzomib. So what is lenalidomide? So this is combined with a proteasome inhibitor. So this could be either bortezomib, or we have other proteasome inhibitor. So this is carfilzomib and dexamethasone. So this achieves close to 100% response rate. So this will achieve 100% response rate and a 30% complete response rate, greater than 30% complete response rate. So making this combination, so this is one of the preferred induction regimen in transplant eligible patients. So whoever are transplant eligible patients, no, so in those patients, so these 3 drugs are used: lenalidomide, bortezomib and dexamethasone. So other similar 3 drug combinations, bortezomib, thalidomide, dexamethasone, or bortezomib, cyclophosphamide and dexamethasone, they also achieve greater than 90% response rate. So what are the other 3 drug combinations? Bortezomib, instead of lenalidomide we have thalidomide and dexamethasone, or bortezomib, cyclophosphamide and dexamethasone, they also achieve greater than 90% response rate. And then we have a 4th agent. So what is this 4th agent? So this is daratumumab. So this is an anti-CD38 antibody. So this is providing even deeper responses. We have a 4th agent. So what is this 4th agent? So this is daratumumab. So an anti-CD38 antibody, it is providing even deeper responses. Usually between 4 and 6 cycles of this combination regimens are utilized to achieve initial deep cytoreduction before consideration of high dose therapy with autologous stem cell transplantation. Usually between 4 and 6 cycles. How many cycles of these combination regimens? Daratumumab, 4th agent daratumumab. So this is an anti-CD38 antibody. Bortezomib, thalidomide, lenalidomide, dexamethasone. Okay, so 4 and 6 cycles of these combination regimens were utilized to achieve initial deep cytoreduction before consideration of high dose therapy with autologous cell transplantation. So patient is transplant eligible. Now we have a patient has to undergo first induction therapy. After that, high dose therapy with autologous stem cell transplantation. Supposing patients who are not transplant candidates. Why not transplant candidates? Because of age greater than 70 years, or patient is having significant cardiopulmonary problems or other comorbid illness. The same 2 or 3 drug combinations described above are considered standard of care as induction therapy. See, patients who are having these problems and who are not transplant eligible, 2 or 3 drug combinations, they are considered standard of care as induction therapy. But what here we do is with age and frailty guided dose and schedule modifications. Modified lenalidomide, bortezomib, dexamethasone combination achieves. So here we are modifying based upon the age and frailty guided dose. So this modified lenalidomide, bortezomib, dexamethasone, RVD light combination achieves high overall response rate 86% and complete remission in 32%, complete response in 32%. So here also 86%. So intermittent pulses of melphalan and alkylating. What is melphalan? alkylating agent. Intermittent pulses of melphalan, an alkylating agent with prednisone. Melphalan plus prednisone, they are combined with novel agents to achieve superior response and survival outcomes. So we have this intermittent pulses of melphalan. So this is an alkylating agent with prednisolone. They are combined with novel agents, so to achieve a superior response and survival outcomes. So in patients greater than 65 years old, okay, greater than 65 years old, combining thalidomide with melphalan with prednisolone, it obtains higher response rates and overall survival compared with melphalan prednisolone. So compared with two drugs, if we combine thalidomide with this melphalan and prednisolone, so this will achieve a higher response rate and overall survival. Significantly improved response and overall survival were observed with combination of, in the same way when we combine thalidomide with melphalan and prednisolone, we can also combine this bortezomib with melphalan. So continuous use of the lenalidomide and dexamethasone combination appears to be superior to the MPT regimen. So compared to MPT regimen, so lenalidomide and dexamethasone combination appears to be superior to the MPT regimen, and its combination with anti-CD38 antibody, it provides even higher lenalidomide, dexamethasone and daratumumab, LDD. Okay, lenalidomide, dexamethasone and daratumumab. So this will provide even higher overall response and complete response rate and improved survival. So even older patients with myeloma, lenalidomide, dexamethasone, and so here again lenalidomide, dexamethasone. This is also combined with daratumumab. So this is a standard of care regimen for older adults with myeloma. Okay, lenalidomide, dexamethasone and daratumumab. So this is also a standard of care regimen for older adults with myeloma. So here we have the different okay. So newly diagnosed myeloma. So if there are myeloma defining events, yes, and transplant eligible, so all these therapies, okay. So RVD means lenalidomide, bortezomib, dexamethasone, okay. Transplant ineligible, induction therapy, RVD light, okay. Alkylating agents, what are the different alkylating agents that are used? Melphalan, cyclophosphamide, bendamustine, cellular therapy and glucocorticoid, dexamethasone and prednisolone. So this high dose therapy, it will be discussed in the next class.